Welcome to Gamma Row Hulk Reviews. My name is DJ. We are not going to do a daily dose of the Jay Giant today. The Bat Dude is back, and he is going to do his third review in the Bat family, and I will introduce him to you now. What's up, PC?
What is happening, YouTube? The Bat Punk is back, and we are ready to rock and roll with another Batman Toy Talk. If you remember on the last episode, I did a conversation about the Tim Drake Robin figure from the Batman Returns line from Kenner. And pretty much that was the discussion to start off with, something I like to call for the Nostalgia Dictionary, bookends. Bookends is pretty much used in the comic book line of from a first appearance to a final appearance. First appearance, for example, being Gwen Stacy, Amazing Spider-Man 33, to her death in Amazing Spider-Man 21. Bookends. So for today, for you, I'm going to do special bookends for something called figure. For Tim Drake Robin, you saw Batman Returns his first costume. Now, I'm going to do his last Robin costume, being DC Comics Multiverse, McFarlane Toys, 2022 Robin, the Red variant. This is by far my favorite Robin costume, and I'll tell you why. This, to me, is the graduation attire. This suit was first debuted in the comics, called a storyline of 1 year later. The villains were getting stronger, they were getting deadlier, and at this point in time, they decided to go off training, Batman, Nightwing, and Robin, to pretty much be better and stronger for the villains that they had to face upcoming. So 1 year later, they became so much more better. They became smarter. They became more strategic. Being a graduation piece, because what some of you don't know, and they've even debuted this in the Dark Detective series, was that the Robin suit wasn't first worn by Dick Grayson. It was actually first worn by Bruce himself when he was actually training with one of his mentors. He actually debuted that suit as a disguise, so then that way he wouldn't be recognized. However, it was actually first designed somewhat similar to this. So the first appearance for the suit was done by Arlen Schumer. And he was pretty much a local artist, not really well known. But if you know of talent houses back in the 40s, like, they would pretty much use other artists to try to duplicate certain images, so then that way it made it easier on the actual artist to do their books. So he did the design of the first comic, Batman, which gave him blonde hair instead of the black, the red and black suit. The cape was more of a glider, a bat wing glider with little yellow streaks in the black, and of course the red. Bob Kane took credit for it, but once this image came out, that's where Bill Finger came in, did the whole redesign of the cape, the cowl, the dark, with the purple gloves. Thank you, Bill. So at this point, this I like to call the graduation, because this was pretty much his own suit. Now the suit has its own backstory, because he designed this suit, Tim did in the comics, to make it as more of a tribute for his best friend, Connor Kent, aka Superboy. Because if you remember, Superboy died in the battle with Superboy Prime, and Tim had always felt like he could have done more, he could have done so much for him. So he created this suit based off of pretty much in memoriam of him. This I also like to consider almost like a debut of a multiverse, because they first debuted this suit not in the comics, but in the animated series. If you remember animated series season 4, Tim Drake in that series had this costume as Robin. Different background. They gave him the Jason Todd background in the comics, but either which way, the suit dead on worked. Now, for the figure itself, being gold label, you can get that anywhere from between about $30 to $50. Mercari, eBay. I got this at a local convention for about $35. I thought it was a great price, great piece, and the nostalgia feel of how I feel as Tim Drake, plain and simple, is just beautiful. Right down from the paint, the imagery, the sculpt. Now, if you were to get this at any sort of like known toy store, it's going to be a little bit more, only because it's the gold label. You're probably going to be looking at $60, but depending on auction, the shipping is going to make it more. But other than that, if nostalgia sells for a Robin fan, a Tim Drake fan, this is the key to get. All around, that's the image for what it'd be in the comics. This is where we're going to get a little bit critical. Now, for the paint of the entire thing, I'm giving that a solid 10. It matches beautifully with the imagery. If you look at the card next to the figure, it's like a beautiful mix of the blood red with the candy apple red, the black, which you can't fake the black, and the yellow. Everything on it pops to a T. Sculpt wise is beautiful on it. You can't, the sculpt itself is right. It's great. But now we're going to get into the details of which you guys probably have already picked up on when you first saw the figure is choices. Okay. What you see here is that it's Robin Tim Drake, and it says on the bottom, red suit variant. What they did was take the first figure that they did and pretty much just repainted it. Look at the body armor. Okay, the body armor, you got no problems with. But when you automatically notice that there's sleeves on him with the rounded cylinder shapes for any sort of the extra medical utensils or other supplies that he had, and the same thing with the gloves, that's how you know that's also part of the first figure. Where? He's got just regular sleeves. He's got the blades on the gauntlets and the boots. The boots are straight up original Batman design where the points go up the shin. This, however, are his ninja boots, where if you look at the sides, they go right up the calves, just like the original Tim Drake Robin suit. Now, the only difference on this is, of course, the cape, because he had like the bat-like S cape, which was painted yellow, the utility belt, which would match what the suit is supposed to be like. But other differences are pretty much that R. When you look at the R is right. Later on, he did have the yellow circle around the R. But further beyond the sticker itself, you can still see the original oval for the shape. Now, you've already seen that before on Chris O'Donnell's Robin from the Batman Forever movie. You've seen it on the very figure that I've shown you from the Tim Drake for Batman Returns. So just on the choices alone, that's going to give you, the creators for this figure, a 7. I'm sorry to say. But when you go out and you say red suit variant, that means you should be doing a different suit. And it doesn't help that you literally have the card of what it's supposed to look like right next to the figure. It just doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. I mean, if you guys have any comments of what you believe that this figure should be, if I'm wrong, if I'm right, let us know right down the bottom. It's beautiful to get your opinion as to what you seem to think the choices were, what they should have been. Fact of the matter is, all around in a nostalgia sense, for me, the final grade for this figure, I'm going to give it a 9.1. I think the paint helped it. It's a solid 10. It pops. You can't go wrong with the sculpting of the figure. It's just the choices. The choices mean everything, especially if you're a collector like me, you're a collector like DJ, and there's certain things that you can nitpick. Nostalgia is a beautiful feeling for anything that you're very passionate about. And I know it could sound hypocritical. I love the figure because this is my favorite costume for this Robin. But it's just the little things that can nitpick any sort of collector. So, with all that being said, solid 9.2 all around. I'm gonna give it that. It's Tim Drake. It's my boy. All in all, to find this figure, I mean, let's face facts. Story is everything. If you like to find them loose, if you like to play with them, it's always great. Now, for my final suggestion, do me a favor. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, ring the bell. Do something in the comments to let us know what you think. Do you have a different opinion? Let me know. I love to hear them. I love to know exactly what it is that you believe is the best Robin. Do me another favor. In the comments, let me know if you think DJ should wear a bright neon pink shirt for his whole collection just to make him pop. Okay? He likes to hear stuff like that. That's pretty much what I got for you. And as far as Tim Drake goes, always will be my favorite Robin. Like I said, like, subscribe. Next time, I will see you all. Bazinga.
Peace, guys.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.